I'm Allie. I came out after 20 years of marriage, and I have 3 kids.
I'm Melissa, and I have 2 kids, and I came out at 37 after an 11-year marriage.
This podcast is about coming out later and the struggles and victories that come with it.
When coming out feels like the end of the world, but it's really just the beginning.
This is the Lesbian Chronicles.
Welcome to the
Lesbian Chronicles. Oh my God. It was bound to happen.
I swear to God, you pointed at me, or you started to. It's like kind of like when someone starts to wave, but then they're like fixing their hair.
Yeah, they're like, wait, I was just dancing. Well, you told me you were in a hurry, so I was really trying to put this thing in fast forward.
Well, I'm in a hurry, but yet I'm going to tell you this story about how I was walking out of my kid's school the other day, and do you know what the Jeep wave is?
No.
Like people that drive a Jeep Wrangler, they wave to each other, and I drive a Jeep Wrangler, and so like every time someone passes me, like we wave to each other. This whole thing.
This is weird. Okay.
I'm walking out of my kid's school and I see a Jeep go by. I'm walking and I'm like, wave. And I'm like, God, I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh my God. Have you heard of
my Jeep's over there?
Have you heard? They don't know that my Jeep's over there. Have you heard of the Jeep Club?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, Jeep people, they're a little intense.
It's like, I have a whole theory on it, but I'm afraid I'll offend people.
I would be careful.
Okay, I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
We have angry Jeep owners, and we know we got a lot of
Ask me privately about my hypothesis.
Okay, I want to hear it.
You're not part of this. I mean, you're a Jeep owner, but you don't subscribe to this, so it won't offend you at all. But I'll tell you
the most
later.
Off-roading my Jeep sees is me like parking in some grass in an overflow parking lot.
No, it's not really about the off-roading, but
no.
Anyway, we'll discuss it later. I don't need anyone else hating me. I got enough hate mail.
Well, I thought last week's episode was really great.
I know. I did too. I listened back as I do.
Nikki brought in a great perspective of parenting teens through this.
Yeah.
And coming out to your teenagers. And
yeah. It's a whole different ballgame.
It really is.
Yeah.
You know?
And I thought it was really interesting too about her in particular that she has teens. She mentioned her younger one is kind of not feeling it. Took a while to kind of come around, even though she was raised so progressively. And what I think is super interesting about that is my kids, up until fairly recently, were at a very Christian school, living in Buckhead. I transitioned them to in-town living and a different, more progressive school. But my kids never one time went through the not ashamed is the wrong word. It was more like they were very much
like the pushback.
There was no pushback. It was like, oh my gosh, you're gay. You have to do this, Mom. Bawling. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm sad, but more like you have to do this. So it's just interesting how these, if somebody would have looked at Nikki's life and looked at my life, I'm sure they would have thought her kids would have responded better based on their upbringing. They were probably around that a lot more than mine were in the formative years. And I don't know. It just goes to show, you never know. And we had a woman in group whose daughter was, they were a very progressive family. And the daughter basically said, please don't do this, Mom. I'm embarrassed.
Well, I think a part of it is someone can be supportive of the gay community. Yeah. And be like, yeah, I'm all about it. But then when it comes to it being in relation to someone that they're close with, they have a difficult time with it. This happened to a friend of mine. This was 15, 20 years ago that this happened. And her sister had come out as gay. And my friend was like, I love my sister and I support her and I support being gay, but why does it have to be my sister?
Yeah.
And that's that stuck with me. Why does it have to be my sister?
Yeah.
And, she, of course, they've come a long way since then. But I think that's just it. It's kind of why does it have to be my mom?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I
can see. And it depends. Little girls, you're going to get there and you'll see. But there's a lot that happens. They morph. And there's a period at 11 years old that looks very different than 14, that looks very different than 17, to the 19-year-old I have now, who's a woman, who's brilliant and has her own ideas about what the world is and, what to think. So it's I do think that It depends. Like, I hate to say that. We can all be so liberal and open-minded and, of course, live your truth, BS, BS, BS. But 11 years old looks different than 12, looks different than 13.
Absolutely. And, we were talking about this before we started about, with my kids being younger.
Yeah.
It's a little easier for me
Absolutely.
to date and for people to like get in with my kids.
Totally.
You see them, you bring them like a little candy or a toy or a craft, and like you're in.
And look, your kids are little enough that you're telling them how to feel.
Yeah.
They don't
they're going based on everything that I'm saying.
Got it.
Oh, we're going to meet this great person.
Yep. That's it.
So my new friend.
You got it.
And telling a 14-year-old that, totally different.
Totally different. And I will say, like, my daughter had feelings around my catalyst. She didn't even realize what was happening back then. She might have. I mean, God, in hindsight. But, like, to talk to her now, she's like, I never liked her. Like, there were things about her that she's like, she just rubbed me the wrong way, even though she was so lovely to her. It's like her brain knew that this isn't healthy for my mom. Like, I don't know. Like, I have a lot of guilt around that. Like, I don't remember her ever showing me that back then. But she wasn't upset about the gay thing. It was more like, please pick. Like, I hope whoever ends up in this spot is amazing. And not to say she wasn't amazing, but just my daughter was picking up on something that she didn't love.
And now I dated someone that has had teens at the time.
Yeah.
And it was hard to get through to them. Like the younger one, yes. Like, but the older one, like,
could take you or leave you.
He just didn't give a shit.
And I guess that's partly boy. But I wonder, too, if, like, in your situation, I don't remember, but didn't she had dated a few women, like, she was almost, like, broken in. You weren't the first.
Yeah, like, I wasn't the first.
Yeah.
Like, and the kids were used to, like, the gay thing. They were okay with all that.
Right.
It's just kind of, like, like, I guess for them, too, a little bit maybe gauging, like, how close do I get to this person?
Yeah.
What's going to happen here? So... And also just being like an uninterested teen. Like they wanted to play video games, not hang out with me.
Right. Yeah, and it's a boy.
Which is understandable.
Totally.
I mean, when I was 16, the last thing I wanted to do was hang out with my parents.
Entertain some adult. I totally get that. But I even think about like now, like when I met, we sometimes look back at old pictures of our kids, Maria and I will, and our boys, like they looked like babies when we met. Like their faces have changed so much. It's like I didn't realize how little they were back then. Like, and now here we are. Like to have to start over with someone at Reed's age now, I think would be a totally different animal.
That would be tough.
Our conflict back then was about the boys' relationship. It was the blending. It caused a lot of stress. I think kids,
I can see that. It's kind of like think about in your class when you were in the 3rd or 4th grade, like, did you like just want to be friends with some random person that's like suddenly like living in your home?
No.
Like what kid, they want their best friend that they've known for years, not this new kid that they don't even know.
Right. I felt a lot of like empathy too for her when she was talking about, like, to listen back, she was talking about like the feeling of keeping the peace. And keeping the peace with, like, her kids might be about to say something that she knows might trigger her partner, or her partner might do something that she thinks, oh, God, the kids are going to, like, get upset about this, and then be in their room, like, talking about it. And, like, that feeling of, I can't just, like, be. I have to monitor. I'm hyper vigilant all the time in this, like, state of making sure there's peace. I remember that feeling, and it's exhausting for me. Like I remember very well how that feels. And she'll get through that, but it's like that too is something that I think people don't warn you about when you're starting over, whether you're gay or straight, just starting over.
And I think that's just it. This isn't like necessarily a gay issue. This is what a lot of people deal with divorcing and dating again.
Yeah.
Is that blending families factor.
Right.
I mean, my sister was dating this guy. They dated for like a couple of years. He has 4 kids. My sister has 2. And they all lived together for like a couple of years.
Wow.
And they made it work for a while. But I think ultimately that was like their demise, having all these different kids of varying ages. I think they ranged in age at the time from like 3 or 4 on up to like 15.
Wow.
So it was rough, you know?
I think you have to like to give the kids some space and that like I couldn't, but I have a very vivid memory. I know I've told you the story, but where Maria's son said to her with me sitting right there, it's just the three of us of like, why do we have to live here? I'd rather live with insert name. And it was like the ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like a knife to the gut of just like, why would he say that? Like, this house is fun. We've got, the dog, the kids, like it's so fun here. But it hurt my feelings. But then it was just like, I had to remember his brain was 5.
Yeah.
It's like
it has nothing to do with
nothing
you.
to do with me. He wants her. He was an only child. Now he's got 3 siblings that are loud and taking his shit. And I think it was really, really hard. But I mean, he verbalized that to me. And I was angry. I was just like, what? Even as evolved as I am, like, have your kids ever said something to a woman you're in a serious relationship with, or even Marina, where you're like, oh God, why did they say that?
Oh, well, not my kid, but
of course not your kid.
I mean, of course not my kid. My ex-husband and his girlfriend, her child.
Okay.
This is funny, though.
Who did she say it to?
She said it to Marina, and she asked where my other girlfriend that I had seen,
oh my
I'm not
God,
going to name names.
No way.
But she said, where is, and I was like, damn it.
What did Marina say?
Oh, she was fine. She like laughed about it, but it was like, I think she genuinely like wanted to know where this person was.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, it was a little bit of like, haha, like, let's
gotcha.
see what this stirs up.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, how old is she? And I'll tell you what it was.
She is, I think she's 8 now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She knows. That is hilarious.
But I mean,
but wait, does she like
luckily,
you?
I'm like, she does.
So why? I mean, it's, I think she does. I think.
I mean, I'm not good with kids. I'm really not. Like, I'm not sucking up to them. I'm not getting down and being like, well, how's it going? I'm just not like that. And I think kids see that in me. And they just kind of like, like stand back from me.
That's really funny. I don't know that I thought I was great with kids until I met Maria. And then it's like, she like really puts in the effort in a way that I'm like not willing
some people,
to.
I'm like, who are you? Like, how do you do this?
Unless they're my kids.
Like, Marina's great with kids.
Yeah.
Always like make sure to talk to them and ask them questions. And I'm just like, hey.
Yeah.
What's going
on? I know. It's like, am I doing it if I don't really care?
Maybe we need to stop talking.
I care about mine.
I'm coming across as really.
I know it's terrible. Like, I don't know what to say about it. It's not.
But I mean,
perfect.
honestly, I didn't even think I wanted to have kids for a long time.
I always knew I wanted them, and I'm still this way.
I was just like teetering on the fence. It was like I hit 31, and it was like I got womb fire, and I was like suddenly like I wanted to have a kid, and I was pregnant by the end of that year. Got very lucky in that respect. I know a lot of people struggle with infertility and all that stuff. So I feel very lucky, and I'm very lucky too to have them now. Like I've seen a lot of this discussion lately about people being child free and making that choice. Like, that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
I was one of those people that thought about it, but I'm so glad that I.
Of course,
yeah. Like,
let me ask you
they
this.
just bring so much to my life.
Oh yeah, and your kids. I mean, I'll tell the story because you won't. But my oldest babysat for Melissa and literally said it's almost like something's right. Like, it's a movie, and any minute someone's going to come in and be like, "This is all fake." She's like, because the kids are so well behaved. She's like, it's like nothing you've ever seen before. They like play together. You do it first. No, you do it. Then it's like, then they go to bed. She's like, and it's time to go to bed. They just literally like go right to bed. She's like, I just don't even, it's like an alternate universe over there that is like, it's not real. And so you happen to get really great kids.
I did, yes. I mean, they do like poke at each other and stuff, and get into little arguments.
You have no idea.
It's typically remedied, and I think my house is a lot different than being over at their dad's house.
Yeah,
I think there is a little bit more conflict happening
Of course.
there.
There's another child.
But there's another child involved.
And that's incredible learning for them.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's great that they have like both spaces, and they're always excited to go there, you know?
Let me ask you something though, really quick, back on the thing about having babies. This is an off thing, but this is something that Maria does, I feel like, all the time, and I'm constantly squeezing her leg under the table. And it happened when you were over for your birthday. We're all sitting at the table, and she will talk about what you just said, which is, I'm so glad I have these kids. And like, she has even been like, you know, so-and-so could have missed out on this. And it's like, they're so glad they didn't miss out. And I'm thinking, we're sitting there though with people that don't have kids or that chose not to have kids. Mm-hmm. It feels sometimes so mean. Like, it's, to me, it's like the best blessing ever. But sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm like worried that people are getting so offended that I'm like, oh, life is so great because I have kids. Yeah. Do you ever feel like, did you feel that at all at my house the other night?
A little bit.
Okay,
I mean, I
too.
do wonder that sometimes. Yeah. I mean, I know like Marina tried to have kids, mm-hmm. and it didn't work out.
Right.
And that was devastating to her at that time, you know? And so I know that it's a difficult subject.
Yeah.
You know, because we never know who's tried and who hasn't.
Yeah. Or who doesn't want them. And that's okay too.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just it. It's like, it's perfectly okay to not want them. But I remember when I was in my 20s and thinking like, I don't know if I want to have kids. Like, right. I felt like I couldn't say that to people.
Yeah.
Like,
I never felt like that. It was like, I was the girl that played with baby dolls my entire life. I had a whole house for them. I couldn't wait. I gave them bottles. I would race home because the baby needed the bottle. I mean, I would go to garage sales to buy clothes for my babies. The babies were twins. I mean, I had
nothing like this.
I was so into it. Like,
my mom even bought me like these expensive baby dolls. I think they were like $100 each, like two of them, twins. Woman, and because I acted like somewhat
interested.
My mom buys these things for me and then like gives me hell for years for not playing with them.
Oh my God. It's funny that your mom did the baby dolls and the shows. Like, she really was giving her best effort to get
She was trying her damnedest.
She was trying her damnedest.
And I'm just like, nah.
I don't know.
I don't know. How about some Ninja Turtles?
Exactly. Well, let's let's get back on to the subject of, though, with having these teenagers, and then you're introducing this partner that maybe doesn't have kids. Because in your case, your partner has kind of embraced a pseudo motherhood role with your kids. Like, she's great with them. Does she ever get annoyed? We have to hang out with the kids tonight. Like, I wanted to do this.
I wouldn't say annoyed by any means. She's actually been like far and beyond understanding of like how chaotic my schedule can be. But I think like sometimes it is like, for instance, her birthday's this weekend, and I think she had thought we were going to just do like adults all weekend, but it turns out I have to get my kids on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And so like, she's not mad or vocal about it in any way, like that it's upsetting, but I think it was kind of like she had this expectation and now it's not happening. I mean, we're doing other stuff for her birthday. I think she just gets it, you know, she knows that like, that's how life is.
Yeah.
And they just love her so much too. Like, they literally are at night, you know, crawling on her, like wanting to snuggle with her and watch TV.
Oh.
And they love when she takes them to school in the morning, like, or takes them anywhere, soccer practice. And she's very helpful to me too.
Yeah.
You know, so it's nice. Like, even though we don't live together, it's nice to have someone that's like stepping into this role where they are like helping me in ways that like I don't have to like dictate.
And in doing that, building a relationship with your kids. Like her own relationship that doesn't have anything to do with you necessarily. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's based on her own interactions with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I could see her being very, very nurturing and loving.
She is. She's very maternal.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been like that. She's like that with like even like her friends. Like, they're always like, know that she's the one that has like snacks in her car.
Yeah.
You know?
She probably also, I get the feeling, I mean, I don't know, but she's not like, doesn't care to be out like you do in the way. Not that you do either, but like you probably outlast her on the going out scene. So the kids
100%.
Yeah, she's probably like, oh, thank God we've got the kids to
But
like
I will say,
home.
let me brag about myself for a second. I did not go to Second Friday.
You didn't?
I did not.
What?
We went home to let the dog out, and we just decided not to go. And I was okay with it.
Incredible. Whoa. Yeah. Wow, that's a birthday milestone.
Look at me turning 42 and finally becoming a grown up.
Wow. Okay.
And thank God I called it then and stopped drinking because my head hurt the next day.
I know.
I was, like,
mine
surprised.
did too. We had such a great time with you guys.
Yeah, so same. Like
it
that
was like
a blast.
easy and fun, and that I like when I don't have to like try hard for conversation. Like the people that were there felt like you could say anything, and it was just I like your try. You got a good little group.
Thank you.
Yeah, everybody was easy.
That was a blast. I loved it. Like that was a very low key birthday, but it was perfect.
And it was also like delicious food. Thank you to Marina.
Oh yeah, yeah. Marina and Maria.
Maria did, but Maria would say Marina did the most.
She did make 2 trips to Costco.
Well, there you go. No, she was the what do you call them? Portobello mushrooms were like outstanding.
They were good.
Yeah.
Even with my vegan cheese.
Yeah. Oh God. Really? Wow. That sounds like it sucks.
I mean, it was okay.
Yeah. We should have
asked.
Just
not as melty.
One of the other guests that were there at your place is in kind of a similar situation where one of them has a teenager and the other one has no kids. And we should have kind of asked them a little bit because I do think it's such a mixed bag of what you get. And I wonder sometimes if it has to do with who your relationship with your teenager. But
there's a very high chance they're a pretty new couple. I don't know that
they've had to deal yet.
Has been introduced.
Okay.
Because she typically waits to do that.
Yeah.
A pretty good amount of time.
Yeah.
Which is smart, especially with a teenager.
Right.
So
because they can be really critical.
Yeah. Speaking of critical,
go ahead.
Let's talk about Candace Cameron Bure.
I've only heard a little. You fill us in, Newsy.
No, let me preface this by saying.
Is she from Growing Pains?
No, Full House.
Full House.
But her brother was on Growing Pains.
Kirk Cameron.
Yep. So they're both a little bit of religious nuts. But I watched Full House. I loved Full House when I was a kid. I don't know why we think that she's relevant now in the
conversation,
anything that she's saying. But basically, she is saying that she's starting her own channel. And I guess she's been in a lot of Hallmark movies. So I think the new channel is going to be similar.
Don't tell the name of it
to the Hallmark.
We don't want to promote it.
Oh, well, I don't think she has a name. Okay. But she says that she doesn't plan on having any LGBTQ representation relationships on this channel. So,
I mean, what?
There's been some uproar about this. I think she's also saying it's going to be like traditional values project on her channel.
The thing I know about making shows is I know a couple things. One is that she's going to need money. There's not going to be enough people, in my opinion, that would think that this is a winner. Number one. Number two, who's she going to get to produce it? I think that's not simple. You might have this idea and there might be everybody, saying, oh my God, yeah, I'd totally watch that and whatever. But at the end, it's the money and production. And I don't see who is getting behind this. There's just isn't a big enough audience.
You're going to tell me that there's also going to be what gay person is going to want to sign up to be on your crew or be your makeup artist?
You got it.
Hairdresser, any of this stuff, artistic director,
right?
What have you?
No,
I don't know. I just don't get it. And I also don't understand. I guess this is part of a broader thing for me in that people are riding this train of being unapologetic about their opinions.
Yeah.
Right? And just basing it on their religion. And that is why they feel that way. And they're going to say how they feel because of freedom of speech and all this stuff. But it's just what good does this do anyone?
I know. And it's just like, why is it? Yeah. Why hurt people? Like, I remember Jason Isbell, who you guys know I'm obsessed with, but he posted something once where he basically was talking about transgender people getting bullied and all this stuff. And he's like, and he's this country guy from Alabama. He literally was like, why do you care that much that you would want to hurt someone's feelings?
Right.
Like, what is wrong with you? Like that. And I feel the exact same way. Like, he worded it much more eloquently, but it's just like, do you care that much that you want to hurt people's feelings? And to me, it's like, that's the real question. What is wrong with you?
Being in a same-sex relationship, my relationship has nothing to do with Candace Cameron.
No,
you know,
right.
Like nothing. And same with all of the millions of people that are in same-sex relationships. Nothing to do with her.
Right.
But yet, like, she wants to just oust
a whole group
everyone.
Of people. Right.
Like, I don't know. Good riddance. Like, let's move along. Do your network. Let it fail. Like, move along. But it just really irritates me that more and more we're seeing people just kind of take this stance where they're just ticks.
Right. That's
like,
it.
And then they back it with Christianity. Like, that's not Christian.
And it's not even Christian. That's the thing. And didn't Church of Latter-day Saints just did something where they're not fully accepting gay marriage, but they're basically supporting the bill that protects gay marriage. Is that what it is? I'm saying this wrong, I'm sure, but it was like they didn't go all the way.
No,
it says
it says Mormon Church voices support for same-sex marriage law.
There you go.
So good for them. Because the other thing that just happened is that the Senate, they passed a measure that will protect same-sex marriage. That was really promising for me to hear. Because honestly, when I heard that this was being brought to the table, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, this could be really, like, shake some stuff up. Yeah. And I mean, I know a lot of people, we've been worried ever since Roe v. Wade got overturned.
Yeah.
That's next up on the chopping block.
Right.
So it felt good to me to see this.
Yeah.
I am a little bit nervous with the House, but we'll see.
Can I leave you with one thing that happened that has nothing to do with being gay?
Absolutely.
For 2 days straight, I was trying to get Taylor Swift pre-sale tickets. Taylor
Swift.
2 days straight, and I have no tickets.
Oh my God, really?
In the queue. I mean, waiting.
Taylor...
My kid's checking with me. Did you get the tickets? Nope, still in the queue. Finally get to my place in line, hitting buy, nothing. Somebody already bought them. It was the most frustrating thing.
My God.
Till Ticketmaster, I think, crashed. Then they said they're redoing it the next day. That was yesterday. Did it again. Waited. No tickets.
Man.
And now the tickets are like absurd.
And now they're either bought out, sold out, or bought up by scalpers.
Ticketmaster needs to go away. Like, it was so frustrating.
Did you ever, I'm sure you did, back in the day, buy tickets by do you remember you'd go to the Ticketmaster counter at the grocery store?
Yes.
And buy tickets?
Yep. You'd wait and get them. Yep.
You'd wait in line.
Yep. That was the way to do it, though. And then you had them in your hand. Now it's you're waiting. There's a million fees. Ticketmaster has a legit monopoly.
100%.
And to me, it's I can't believe legally they can do this. I'm surprised, Taylor. I bet we're going to see some fallout in the next couple of days, because it was people were outraged.
Especially with Taylor Swift fans mad.
Oh, yeah. My son, my 16-year-old.
It was like an army.
He was losing.
They're going to storm the Capitol next.
Yeah. Literally.
Or storm Taylor Swift's mansion.
Exactly. I feel like Taylor's going to take care of it somehow.
I think she will. I mean, although I don't really know how she remedies it at this point. If the tickets are sold, who's to say who has bought them?
Yeah.
You know? But
it was so frustrating. And I'm trying to work, and I'm trying to do both. I'm waiting, watching the queue. I'm hitting buy. I mean, it was just I can't believe this is the world that I live in.
Well, and on top of that, I got tickets to see Lizzo.
Yeah.
That was a couple weeks ago. That was amazing. I love Lizzo. But we had the Amex pre-sale.
Yeah. That's what this was.
get seats on the floor,
Yep.
you know? But then like about 2 weeks before the concert, my childcare fell through. So I'm like scrambling to find a babysitter. And then I started thinking like, we could just take the kids with us. Like this would be a good like first concert for them to see. And I go on StubHub and Ticketmaster and I start looking around. These tickets are like outrageous.
That's what I'm saying. You don't even
like there's no way I could have bought like 4 tickets on the floor and afforded it. We would have been like up in the stands and I would have been paying the same amount to sit in the nosebleeds as I did to sit like on the floor.
Totally. It's so ridiculous. So, I know. Our friend who did get them was like, she told me what she paid for 2 tickets. And I remember thinking that's outrageous for 2 tickets. I need 6. So I'm like, that's outrageous, but thinking whatever. Well, now knowing what they're going to be, she got a bargain because, and I have to get them because I can't, I mean, the kids are like, this is the only show they wanted to see. Like this is
I really want to see her. Like I would love it.
Me too.
But I don't know if I want to shell out that much money.
Yeah, it's sick.
Like that's probably the top.
So if anyone knows anyone.
If anyone wants to send us some Taylor Swift tickets, that would be cool.
Any night, any of the nights.
Any city,
totally
really.
Kidding. I'm totally kidding. All right, my friend. Well, I know you're in a rush.
I know. I need to actually work.
Yeah, same.
So, and it's Marina's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Marina. Yes. Whoa, I didn't know that. Today's the day?
No, it's actually Friday.
Okay.
November 18th.
Do you feel pressure that like now you got to do something great? I hope you've got a big meal plan for her.
We're going out to 2 dinners.
Ooh.
Thank you very much. Actually, we're going to be in Auburn, Alabama, like randomly enough. But
really?
I'm curious to see what it's like to be gay in Alabama.
What's in Auburn, Alabama?
She's working
an
event there, and so she has to stay. Where we're staying super cute. It's like these little like cottages.
Oh, fun!
Right there in downtown Auburn, so it should be fun. I mean, I have friends that like went to school there, and they say it's a blast. So we'll see.
All right. Well, I adore her.
Hopefully, we don't get hate crimed.
You won't get hate crime.
But yes, if someone wants to send Marina
2 tickets to Taylor Swift. Tickets to Taylor
Swift for her birthday. That would be awesome.
Exactly. I hope you guys know we're joking. But
well, no, I'm not joking. If someone actually sends me tickets to Taylor Swift, I am not joking. Like,
all right.
But that's not what is expected of you, our dear listeners.
Our dear listeners. All right, my friend. Well, I better get back to it.
All right. We'll talk again soon.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Want to support the Lesbian Chronicles podcast? Rate us and write a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
We love listener feedback. If you'd like to share your story, email us at melissaandallie@gmail.com. That's Melissa, MELISA, and Allie, ALLI, @gmail.com. Or follow us on Instagram at Lesbian Chronicles.